Motherboard. DGKP. The Group of Hardware and Networking. Presented by Gaurav Vaisarang, Durgesh P. Parab, Kalpesh Ghavali.
Introduction. A motherboard, also known as the primary circuit inside the computer, and where the central processing unit's CPU, memory slots, drives and other peripherals. A motherboard provides the electrical connections by which the other components of the system communicate. It also connects the central processing unit and hosts other subsystems and devices. An important component of a motherboard is the microprocessors supporting chipset, which provides the supporting interfaces between the CPU and the various buses and external components. This chipset determines, to an extent, the features and capabilities of the motherboard. Motherboard. Overview. A motherboard provides connectivity between the hardware components of a computer, like the processor, CPU, memory, RAM, hard drive, and video card. There are multiple types of motherboards, designed to fit different types and sizes of computers. Each type of motherboard is designed to work with specific types of processors and memory, so they are not capable of working with every processor and type of memory. However, hard drives are mostly universal and will work with the majority of motherboards, regardless of the type or brand. Below is a picture of the ASUS P5AD2E motherboard with labels next to each of its major components. These are the motherboard components. Motherboard components. Expansion slots, PCI Express, PCI, and AGP. 3-pin case fan connectors. Backplane connectors. Heatsink. 4-pin, P4, power connector. Inductor. Capacitor. CPU socket. North bridge. Screw hole. Memory slot. Super I, 01394 headers. SPDIF. Floppy connection. ATA, disk drive primary connection. 24-pin ATX power supply connector. Serial ATA connections. Coin cell battery, CMOS backup battery. RAID. System panel connectors. FWH. South bridge. Serial port connector. USB headers. Jumpers. Integrated circuit. CDN. Types of motherboard. Integrated motherboard. An integrated system board has multiple components integrated into the board itself. These may include the CPU video card, sound card and various controller cards. Non-integrated motherboard. Non-integrated system board uses installable components and expansion cards. For example, non-integrated system board may allow you to upgrade the video card by removing the old one and installing a new one. Non-integrated motherboard typically have several PCI expansion slots as well. Types of motherboard based on form factor. The first one is AT motherboard and second one is ATX motherboard. AT motherboard. AT motherboard is a motherboard which has dimensions of the order of some 100 mm, big enough to be unable to fit in mini desktop. ATX motherboard. Advanced Technology Extended, or popularly known as the ATX, are the motherboard which were produced by the Intel in mid-90s as an improvement from the previously working motherboards such as AT. Types of motherboard based on use. The first is desktop motherboard. The second one is laptop motherboard. The third one is server motherboard. Desktop motherboard. Desktop motherboard are used in personal or desktop computer. As it is used for application at home and in office, this type of motherboard is the most basic type. Laptop motherboard. Laptop motherboard is used to connect different parts of a laptop system. These motherboards generally have very advanced features as compared to the desktop motherboard, and most of the functions have been integrated into the laptop motherboard. Server motherboard. Server motherboard are more advanced than desktop motherboard and are designed to offer high-end service which are more reliable and ready to operate in 24/7 environments. Manufacturers of motherboard. Motherboard are available in various sizes and configurations. Some motherboards support 32 and 64-bit processor as well operating system. It is manufactured by many companies such as ASUS, Intel, GIGABYTE, MSI. ASUS motherboard. Here we see motherboard model, the processor which support, and processor socket, total memory support, memory module size, chipset, FSB. Have a look on this picture for more details. This is Intel motherboard. Have a look on below picture for more details. In this we can see motherboard model, the processor which support, processor socket, total memory support, memory module size, chipset, and FSB. This is GIGABYTE motherboard. For more details see below picture. This is MSI motherboard. For more details see below picture. Major motherboard components. Chipset. Chipset is a set of IC. The combination of the north and south bridge in a computer is called the chipset. Super input-output chip. Super input-output chip is a single chip which controls slower input-output devices which are not controlled by south bridge. CPU socket. A CPU socket or slot is an electrical component that attaches to a printed circuit board, PCB, and is designed to house a CPU, also called a microprocessor. It is a special type of integrated circuit socket designed for very high pin counts. CPU sockets on the motherboard can most often be found in most desktop and server computers. Laptops typically use surface mount CPUs, particularly those based on the Intel x86 architecture. CPU and RAM communication. In below picture it shows how CPU and RAM communicate with each other. ROM BIOS. Read-only memory can be read but not changed. It is non-volatile storage. It remembers its contents even when the power is turned off. ROM chips are used to store the instructions a computer needs during startup, called firmware. Some kinds of ROM are PROM, EP.ROM, EB.ROM, and CD-ROM. In the picture it's shown different types of ROM BIOS in different types of motherboard. Complementary metal oxide semiconductor battery. This is a 3-volt battery. This battery supplies the power to complementary metal oxide semiconductor RAM. For complementary metal oxide semiconductor RAM to retain the information during system powered off, the battery may be last for 5 or 6 years. Main work to set date and time. Expansion slot, PCI. Expansion slot or expansion bus is the slot that enable the user to add the adapter card for additional function to the system. Example: sound card or multimedia. LAN card. Small computer system interface controller card. Internal modem card. TV tuner card. Additional hard disk controller card. AGP port. AGP, accelerated graphic port. Port is a high-speed data transfer port. This port is used by the display adapter card that demands so much data within short period of time. This is the input-output USB ports. For more details, See below picture, it is explained with ports and the names. Thank you so much friends for watching our video. If it is helpful for you, then, like our video, share it, comment it, subscribe our YouTube channel, and don't forget to press bell icon, it means you don't miss out any video.